Hey everyone, welcome to a new vlog. It is currently Thursday and it is August 17th, right? Yeah, I hate to say it, it's August 17th and I have not finished a book in all of August. I know, I don't know what's going on. It's been a while since I listened to an audiobook, let's be real, and I think that might be why I've been in such a horrendous slump. Because at this point we're going on 2.5 weeks. I've started a few books, I've been reading, like it's not like I haven't been reading every day, but I just have not been able to like actually focus and finish a book. That really is where the issue is coming into play of like, I need to finish a book. I don't even know what I want to read, honestly. And I think you can see like the pile of books behind me, and that's not really like the problem. I don't know, is the problem that I've been reading or I've been starting too many books, or is the problem that like I'm not liking the books that I'm reading? But I don't know. I'm currently reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I am I think like 47 pages in to this book, and this is the like Barnes and Noble edition. I can't remember what they're called, but they're like a soft hardcover. I have a couple of these. I think I have the Pride and Prejudice and also Dracula copies of these like editions, and this one is probably my favorite because it's just black and red and white and it's so pretty. Technically it's not white, it is silver, but I'm loving it so far. I mean, I'm not that far into it, but I am loving the writing style, and like Mary Shelley, she had a way with words and it's so beautifully written. And I don't know, I'm really engaged with this book. So thankfully this one is going pretty well. I did want to read this book. I've had this arc ever since before it came out, which it came out in June of 2021, so it's been a while. But I have been wanting to read this and it's been catching my eye every time I see it, and I'm like, maybe I should start it. I don't know, like getting into adult fantasy again just seems like a huge hurdle to jump through or jump over or whatever, but I really want to read this, so I don't know, we'll see. Like I went through a little phase of YA fantasy this year, like coming back to it, and that was so much fun, but I don't know. I have read the first page of this book and it sounds really good, and I'm liking the hint of like a writing style that I got to see in the first page, but I don't know. And of course I have my Kindle, and I actually did just start one of the books on my Kindle that I'm really intrigued by, and I'm really liking the story and like the characters so far. They're very vivid and like there's so much like character, and I think that's kind of what I've been missing in some of the books that I have been attempting to read, is that like I'm not connecting with the characters. And as someone who is such like a character driven reader, if I'm not connecting with the characters, then what am I connecting with? Like I can do like kind of like mediocre characters and like really good plot, but I have to already be in like a huge reading mood, and if I'm not in that mood, then I really need something that is hugely character driven with like very strong characters, in the sense that like they are very distinct and very, you know, I don't even know how to explain it, but you know what I mean. Like I need characters who are really charactering. Also, I don't know if I talked about this in my last vlog, but I am going to be going to New York in October. I was about to say next month. I'm like, next month is only September. I'm going in October. I can't remember which day, but I know that we're going from like, I think it's like Friday to Monday or something like that. And Friday to Tuesday. So we have 3 full days in New York. Technically, we will be staying on Long Island because that's where my brother lives. But yeah, we're going to try to at least do like 1 full day in the city, because we haven't really done that before. We've only gone to like a Yankees game, and then the first time we went to New York, we had like, I would say maybe 4-ish hours in the city, which is fine, but we really only got to see Times Square and like Fifth Avenue and stuff like that, so we didn't really get to have like a real true city experience, which I mean, I know we can't do that in one day, it's just not going to be possible, but I feel like we're gonna get to do a little bit more than we typically do in the city. And I'm really excited because I really want to see like Central Park and stuff like that, because we haven't gotten to do that yet. So I'm super excited about that, and I think we're gonna have a really fun time. And I miss my brother, obviously. I haven't seen him since January, I want to say is the last time we saw him, so it's been a while. It's been a few months, but that's kind of what happens when I live in California and he lives in New York. I have been trying to figure out like what I want the vibe to be for like what I pack for New York. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to see what the weather is going to be like. I've been to New York in October before, and it was kind of like not like super chilly, but also not super hot either. It was kind of in the middle. It was kind of like, I think it was about like anywhere from 60 to 70 degrees when I went in October. So I guess we'll find out this year what the weather is going to be like, and that will dictate what I end up bringing with me. I'm really excited to go see him and go to New York again for the third time. But also I really need to do my hair. I think you can see like the grays are graying right now, and I can't really hide them anymore. Like, it's getting really hard to hide them, but I do want to color my hair soon. And as you can see, my hair is like kind of a medium to dark brown still. Like, it's not like super light or anything, but it's definitely light for me. And I think you can see like my roots are pretty dark. Like, my roots are about right here, and they're really dark. And I think you can also see them like right here, if you can see like the difference between the colored hair and then my roots. Yeah, my natural hair color is very dark, so I'm thinking I'm gonna go back to my natural color, and I'm just kind of waiting to get closer and closer to October and trying to hold out as long as possible so I can kind of have it fresh for New York and not have to worry about it. But I also really want to cut my hair. So my hair's looking really long. It's not like the longest it's ever been. It's definitely been longer before, but it's just getting to that point where my ends are really dead and so dry. I actually had like a nightmare last night that I like fried off, like literally truly fried off the ends of my hair with my straightening iron. And that was a huge nightmare for me. But I'm thinking that I really want to cut off like a good like 4.5 inches off, and like kind of go a little short. And I think it's good. I think it'll be good for like 1989 is coming out soon, and so we could have like sort of like shorter hair for 1989. But I don't want it to be so short that I wouldn't be able to put it up in like a clip or anything. But also, as you can see, I have a lot of hair. Like, look at all of that. It's wild. It's a lot. And it's getting heavy. It's getting to be a bit of a nuisance. I am really prone to headaches, and having hair that is just really thick and really heavy, it pulls on my head constantly. So I really want to thin it out a little bit, get a few inches cut off, make sure it's like healthy and looks good and doesn't look so scraggly as it does now. Because look at that, look at the ends. They're not looking great. They're not looking great. I'm going to go and read. I was going to say I was going to go make a coffee, but I've already had 3 cups of coffee today. I don't know how many is too many, but I have a feeling that 4 cups is probably too much. So we'll just go relax and read some more Frankenstein because I'm really enjoying it. Before I start filming my video, which I am just about to do, I have a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. My mom brought it home for me, so she brought it home in her little like insulated tumbler, and not in like the Starbucks cup, so I had to transfer it to my skull cup, which I've had for quite a few years, and it is so good. It is so good. I seriously cannot get over how good this is right now. And it's actually pretty hot today. I don't know how hot it is, honestly. It's pretty warm, but I am in my Taylor Swift cardigan enjoying the fall vibes in my room. I've been lighting a pumpkin candle all day, so it smells really great in here. I don't have any AC, so it's actually a little warm in my room, and that's kind of bothering me, but it's okay. We're living in a little fantasy right now, and I have my pumpkin spice latte. I'm so happy. I just had to document that for the vlog. Like, I had to document my first sip of a pumpkin spice latte. It just feels so right. So I finished filming my video, drank my pumpkin spice latte. I did put you near my window, so there you might hear some cars going by. I'm so sorry, but I just figured I would update you all. I did finish filming my video, and my hair's still looking pretty good, surprisingly, but I feel like more of this hair is actually in the clip, so let me fix that. I did start reading the sequel to Legendborn, which is, let me see if I can remember it without turning around. Nope, I can't remember it. Bloodmarked, which I do own, and I started listening to the audiobook last night. And so far I am a little confused with what's going on, even though I did read a brief, not really synopsis, but just kind of like basically the Sparks notes of like what happened in Legendborn. I read that and I'm still like, what is going on? And still I'm confused. I think just a lot of stuff is going on in like the very first chunk of this book. I listened to about an hour of the audiobook, which I don't know how much that is in terms of like paper page count. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with this book, honestly. I'm really excited to read it, and I'm excited to see what happens. I know a lot of people love this sequel, so I'm hoping that I will also love it. I'm attempting to read this book. Hopefully I like it, hopefully I can stick with it, hopefully it doesn't send me deeper into my reading slump, because oh, it's not going well. The reading slump is really reading slumping. And yeah, I'm in desperate need of something to pull me out of it. So I don't know if it's gonna be this. I don't know if a sequel is the right move. I still haven't finished the sequel to Little Thieves, which is, I can't remember. You can see where my brain is at right now, honestly. You can really see where my mental space is at. It's not in remembering titles to books. It's not in reading books. It's in existing and trying to exist and trying not to not exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like we're in the trenches right now. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but hopefully I can figure out something and enjoy reading again and find a book that I love, because I don't know if this is it. We'll see though. Hopefully, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. So I'm gonna try to keep you all updated, but I will say that pumpkin spice latte did the trick. It was so good. Okay, so I honestly cannot remember the last time I updated my vlog, and it could have been before the weekend. It's currently Monday. It's probably what, Thursday or Friday, so maybe not that long ago. I do need to wash my hair though, like majorly. Maybe we'll just push my bangs out of the way because they're looking very greasy. As you all know probably, because I'm sure I talked about it in my last clip, but I have been in like a major slump moment, and it's getting, well, it was getting pretty bad, but I finally finished a book, and I actually started it last night and I finished it at around like noon today, maybe a little bit after noon. Honestly, it felt so good to like actually jump into a book and feel so excited about it and like I woke up this morning and I wanted to start reading it immediately. It's such a good feeling to be back into like my reading mode, my reading era. So I ended up reading The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer, and I had this book out from Libby for like a month nearly. It was going to be returned in like a few days, so I just decided to pick it up and start it, and I'm so glad I did because I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's more like a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like something that I fully like connected on. I guess I did a little bit because basically this book was about this like eccentric children's author, and he has written like dozens and dozens of these books, and they're so inspiring and whatever, and like all these kids love them so much. And it follows this main character who grew up reading those books and grew up in a really dysfunctional and toxic family, and she found a lot of solace in those books. And actually one day she ran away from home and went to go find the author, and this author is kind of like a reclusive, eccentric author, and he lives on this island, and she showed up at his doorstep, and he kind of had to like obviously like call the police on her and like get her back home. But when she becomes an adult, she gets really connected to this child who is in the foster system. His parents are both passed away. He has no living relative who can take care of him. I think the only living relative he has is in jail. And so she really wants to adopt him. She really wants to take care of him, but she is broke. She is like, I think it's teacher's assistant. She has no savings, no money. And suddenly she finds out about this like game that the author is putting on in order to win like his new manuscript. And so she is chosen as one of the contenders or contestants or whatever for this game, and she desperately wants to win the manuscript so she can sell it and take care of this kid. It's this really fun and whimsical premise, and I feel like if you're a fan of like Caraval or The Night Circus or Where Dreams Descend or whatever, like I feel like this is the perfect book for you. But instead of it being like a fantasy book, it's contemporary fiction, and it still has that like whimsical element to it, but there's just no magic or no like, you know, no actual real magic. It's all just like very realistic. But I loved it. I thought it was so cute and so sweet, and like this book made me wish that the fictional book series was real, because like they sounded so good and like something I would have really liked as a kid. And like it kind of brought me back to the books that I loved, like Ella Enchanted, I read so many times as a kid, and Charlotte's Web, and all of those kind of books that I found a lot of solace in. So I thought it was really sweet. If you grew up really loving to read, this might be a perfect book for you. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, and I do really highly recommend it. I don't think it's gonna be for everybody, but if you have like very similar tastes to me, and like I said, if you like Caraval and stuff like that, you might really enjoy this. It is an adult book, but it's not like anything too intense. I would say like there's some trigger warnings for like childhood trauma and stuff like that. Nothing too intense. I mean, there are some mentions of like childhood sexual assault and stuff like that, but it's pretty brief and it's not like descriptive or anything, so just fair warning. And there is some also like medical stuff as well. I would just look into the trigger warnings. I don't know if there's a page or not for that, but definitely do some research before going into this book, because it's a little heavier than I kind of expected it to be. But yeah, I do highly recommend it. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to read next, because I am technically in the middle of Bloodmarked, which I started a couple days ago, and I am enjoying it, but I feel like it's really dense. Like I'm feeling like it's not moving quite as fast as I want it to be. Which is weird, because like I read Legendborn pretty quickly. Like I read it really easily. It was like definitely fast paced for me, and I really enjoyed it. I read it physically. And like that's crazy for me to read it like pretty quick and not as an audiobook. But I don't know, there's something about the sequel that I'm just feeling a little bogged down by, so I don't know if we're gonna continue with it right now, but I need to figure out what I'm gonna read next because I don't want to lose this momentum. So I'm going to like check to see what I have on Hoopla and Libby and stuff like that, and maybe I will let you guys know once I decide. Please don't make fun of my hair. Please don't do that. I really just, my bangs are not cooperating with me today, and I think it's because I put a little too much heat protectant product in my bangs when I blow dried them this morning. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wash them tomorrow and just like redo them and hope that that helps. But they're just really bugging me at the moment. I don't know if you noticed them, but I dyed my hair darker. It looks pretty good, honestly. I did a really good job, as you can see. A little bit darker. This is really close to my natural hair color. It's like basically my natural hair color. I dyed it lighter for about a year and I was really enjoying it. It's just a lot of upkeep, really. Not that like dyeing it darker is going to be anything less, because I do have gray hair popping up every, you know, in these like areas over here, but it's going to be a lot easier just knowing that, you know, it's closer to my hair, my natural hair color. The regrowth is going to be not very noticeable at all. So yeah, I think it looks really good. And of course, short hair, well, not short hair, but like medium length hair, really popping off today. My mom's gonna put more layers in tomorrow because, as you can see, it's nearly all one length and it's just not working for me. But I did want to update you all because I have finished more books, but also the last time I talked to you guys, I guess I should start from there. The last time I talked to you guys, I was going to start a book. I was going to start I believe Emma of 83rd Street was what I was going to start. Was it The Wishing Game? I honestly cannot remember. But I was going to start a book, and then I was like, oop, gotta go. And I told you that I would update you all once I picked the book I was going to read. And I never updated you all because I ended up getting the stomach flu. Yeah, I thought it was food poisoning at first, but we are pretty sure that it was a stomach flu because my brother and my mom ended up getting it. So I don't know, but I was throwing up so much all night that night, and I really didn't start to feel better until like Wednesday or Thursday. So I got sick Monday night, and it was fast. It was so fast. That's why I thought it was food poisoning, is that like it happened immediately, and I thought I was having anxiety, so that's why I kind of put the camera away, because I'm like, I'm feeling so weird. I don't really know what's going on, and I maybe I just need to stop filming and I'll feel better, you know, whatever. But no, it was not anxiety. It was, I'm gonna be sick. So yeah, that's what ended up happening, and that's why I have not been able to vlog for an entire week. Or else maybe this vlog would have been up by now. But yeah, so I just wanted to let you guys know that that's what happened. And that's also why my other video was so late, is that I could not edit for like days because I was just feeling so horrible. Like all day Tuesday I was in bed. I did not leave the bed unless I was going to the bathroom. That was it. I didn't eat all day Tuesday. I barely ate anything Wednesday. I guess Thursday was really the first day I started to feel normal or like better. But today is Saturday and I'm feeling totally fine now. I ate completely normally today. I ate pretty normally yesterday too. So I think we're good. I think we're out of the woods. My mom is still feeling a little bit sick, but she didn't get sick until I think Wednesday. So she was a little bit late, so she's got maybe another day or so until she feels 100% back to normal. But yeah, I did want to talk about some of the books that I have finished since last speaking. I ended up reading Emma of 83rd Street by Audrey Beleza and Emily Harding, and I gave that 5 stars. Like, I love that book so much, and it's making me really want to read more Jane Austen retellings, especially like contemporary romance Jane Austen retellings. And I totally forgot that I have the Bennett sisters. Like, I was like, what other Jane Austen retelling could I possibly read? And technically I could pick up that book, so I might do that. I'm gonna see if I'm up to it, because I kind of do have some other like physical books that I'm currently reading. I really want to finish my reread of Beach Read as soon as possible, because I want to move on to my reread, like finishing my reread of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I really need to do both of those things as soon as possible. I really enjoyed this book. It was a retelling of Emma, obviously, which meant that I absolutely had to rewatch Emma 2020. And that movie I love even more the second time around. I liked it the first time I watched it, but oh my gosh, it got even better the second time around. It was so good. And I didn't realize how many actors that I recognize in that movie. Like, I guess I just didn't notice, or I didn't pay attention enough the first time around. But yeah, I love Emma retellings or like adaptations or whatever, because Clueless is one of my favorite movies of all time, so it's just fun to kind of read something or watch something and be like, oh, this is like Clueless. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it's set in New York, which is really fun because I'm going to be going to New York in October. I'm so excited. It's all I can talk about. And it was just so sweet. It was such a sweet adaptation, and I felt like it was so perfectly adapted, and so many of the story beats were there and were so strong. And there was not a moment of this book where I was bored. Like, every single chapter made me feel like I needed to continue to read it to find out what happens next. Even though, like, I knew what was gonna happen, like, duh. But it was just so propulsive for me for some reason. Like, and I don't know if it was the writing style, I don't know if it's the characters, I don't know if it's just Emma as a story, which I love. I just think it's funny because I'm typically not the kind of reader who enjoys co-written books. That's something that I've said for a really long time, is that I'm just not a fan of those. But this one worked so well. These two work really well together, and I love that this book really set up for like possibly a series of Jane Austen retellings. The ending of this one really heavily implied that there's going to be like a Pride and Prejudice retelling, which I also love Pride and Prejudice. So I'm going to be really excited for that one. If you're looking for a really well written Emma retelling, I highly recommend Emma of 83rd Street. It was so good, and the audiobook is amazing. And then the last book that I read, which actually was the book that made me complete my Goodreads reading challenge of 50 books. So I am currently at 50 out of 50, which is nice. But I ended up reading Idle Burning by Renusami. And this is a book that I have been wanting to read for a while, and I've had it checked out on Libby for so long that I finally was like, you know what, it's a really short audiobook, you can get it done in one sitting. And so I did, and I think I just did not get from this book what the author intended for me to get out of this book, which I don't know if it was like the translation that was the issue, or if it was just the way the story was told, or the perspective, or I don't know. Because to me, I thought that this book was kind of trying to illustrate the toxicity of fandom culture, the toxicity of this like parasocial relationship that some stans have with the people that they idolize, and how that can be really destructive to someone's life, and it can really consume you and whatever. But I guess it was really just illustrating like cancel culture. I don't know, like the way that the author's note made me understand the book is that the author is just intending to kind of like have some sort of commentary on cancel culture as a concept. I don't know. I read a few other reviews, and some people also had that issue of like they thought it was one thing and it turned out to be a different thing. So I will say that I guess I was glad that there was an author's note so I wasn't like under the wrong impression. But yeah, I guess I would recommend it just like to read it if you're really interested, but it wasn't like one of my favorite books ever. So yeah, that's what I've read so far lately. I'm gonna see what I'm currently reading right now on Libby. Right now I'm in the middle of You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Byron, and this one is basically about, it's kind of like a queer thriller about this camp, or like not a camp, but it's basically like an escape room camp setting, which is really interesting, and that's kind of what drew me in to reading this in the first place. But I'm a little nervous to read it at night, so I don't know how quickly I will get through this book because reading it during the daytime, you know, it has to be done for me personally, my mental space. Which is like the problem with trying to read thrillers and horror and stuff like that, is that I really can't read too much of it at night. It really has to be during the day. So I don't know how quickly I'll get through it. But I am also technically in the middle of Bloodmarked, but I'm reading it physically, so that's also a little bit hard to kind of juggle all these books. I might try to find another audiobook, just one that I can read like in the daytime whenever I want, so maybe I'll try to figure out what I can read for that. So yeah, I'm going to see if I can figure out what to read next, and I will talk to you guys later, and it will definitely be later because I'm not gonna get sick again.
I thought it'd be me and you. Oh.